David Axelrod, advisor and strategist for President Obama, has called Kamala's performance at the town hall with Anderson Cooper on CNN word salad city. And I want to show you exactly how true this is. So prime example to me is when she was asked to talk about a mistake she'd made and what she'd learned from it. Take a look at this.
There's something you can point to in your life, political life or in your life in the last 4 years, that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from, you know, if you've ever parented a child, you know you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
So first point first, you're not a parent and you haven't raised kids. The nanny raised Doug Emhoff's kids into Anyway, yeah, she didn't answer the question. She can't answer the question. It doesn't make any sense. She rambles. She wasn't prepared for the question of what mistake have you made in your life and learned from. Every one of us could answer that off the cuff very easily. But, you know, it only gets worse. If you remember 2019 and before, you remember Kamala Harris talking about Trump's wall project as racist and useless, stupid, and she called it a vanity project, if I remember correctly. It might have been. I think it was her. Yeah, called it a vanity project. Oh boy. Now Kamala Harris appears to be in favor of the wall. Take a look at this question and sort of answer.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can...
Okay, since you think that's the most important point, that's the one I'm going to address. America does have a process for immigration that's legal. The problem is you're letting millions and millions and millions and millions of people in who are not legal. Now, as far as you passing a comprehensive border bill, I'm going to say bullshit, because you're going to lose the House and the Senate, most likely. Definitely the House, probably the Senate. And you're not going to be able to pass anything. But even more than that, any bill that you might propose is going to be along the lines of the one that was already proposed by the Democrats and shot down by Congress earlier this year. And that is, oh, you tried to fund Ukraine with $60 billion more with that bill. You tried to create amnesty for pretty much everybody who came across the border. It's not going to fly. Nobody believes you anymore. There's not a thing that you can say that's going to make people believe that you're going to do a good job at the border, because you're a liar. And here you are talking about Donald Trump not being able to finish the border wall. Well, he had the entire Democratic establishment standing in his way. And if you're so worried about him not being able to complete it, I'm not sure why you are, because you called it useless and a vanity project. So I'm confused as to what it is you're trying to say, Miss Harris.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
And of course, the woman that Dougie Emhoff calls Mamala can't give an answer on this. She knows she wants to build a wall. She literally was just talking about it. But now she can't admit it because she's been reminded that, oh, this was Donald Trump's idea and you called it stupid. She is so incredibly vacuous and full of shit. It is really, really hard to listen to her talk. This is the third day in a row, by the way, I've watched a town hall or an interview of hers, and I'm over it, so I'm not doing the entire thing. We're just looking at the high points. But yeah, she's never going to admit that she's going to build a border wall, even though she literally just said that she is. Interesting.
Can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on it? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense, because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
And Anderson Cooper, of all people, hammers the point home. She is a liar. She just said how stupid the wall was. She just talked about Trump's wall being ineffective. Well, here you are saying you're going to take $650 million to go keep building that wall. And still, to this point, she will not and cannot give a plan. She talks about, let's just fix this. You've had 4 years to fix it and no one believes you anymore. You've had 4 years to fix it and the rate of illegal immigration is higher than it's ever been in the history of the country. No one believes you. You can't win on this. If you accept the fact that you were in charge of the border, you lose. If you don't accept that you were in charge of the border, you lose. You did a bad job and no one trusts you on this issue. Now, I've watched so much Kamala Harris in the last 2 days that I just want to gouge my eyeballs and earballs out. So I'm going to leave you with this beautiful clip of Kamala Harris responding to a question about what she's going to do specifically to stop the conflict between Israel and Gaza. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and take this one last look at your Madam Vice President.
What do you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third-party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue?
Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have. I don't know that anyone who has seen the images who would not have strong feelings about what has happened, much less those who have relatives who have died and been killed. And I know people and I've talked with people. So I appreciate that. But I also do know that for many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing down the price of groceries. They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and is a fascist. They also care about the fact that we need practical, common sense solutions from a leader who is willing to work across the aisle on behalf of the American people and not themselves. They want a president who cares about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body, understanding that we're not trying to change anyone's belief, but let's not have the government telling women what to do with their body.
I want you to meet Beth Sam.